push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
Hey, what's up, and welcome to a Monday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you, joined by, well, the one, the only, and no stranger to this show, a man in Quinn Pushkar, who we're going to talk to for the first half of the show and just talk about, the records that this man is shattering on his streaming platform known as Your Sports Network. But before we do that, as we do each and every day, we're going to go to On This Day in Sports History. Roll it. On this day in sports history, a day that has a lot going on, we're going to give you two little bonus coverage here. In 1966, the NFL and the AFL announced their merger. Pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
3 years later, Joe Namath resigns from the NFL after Pete Rozelle, the football commissioner, said he had to sell his stake in a bar. I mean, what are the odds that that bar is in Beaver Falls? Probably good, I'm guessing.
Maybe.
He was a Beaver Falls guy.
Sure.
Broadway Joe. What do you think would happen nowadays if Roger Goodell said, you have to resign or give up your stake in whatever side hustle you're doing?
I mean, I'm thinking of like who's in '69. Namath was at his prime, right?
I would assume so.
Top of the league, basically. I mean, that'd be like telling Brady you got to get rid of what? What would that be?
You got to TB12,
TB12,
or his new clothing line. Have you checked that out yet?
No.
Okay, so there's Brady clothing.
I'm not Tom Brady, so I'm not going to wear those clothes.
I was amped up. I was excited. I was like, I'm going to get myself some Tom Brady clothes to make myself feel like a champion. Dude, $150 for a hoodie.
I'll take the 5-pack of Fruit of the Loom tees at Walmart.
That's what I'm
for
saying.
$10.
That's what I'm saying.
My pace.
The RP specials, right? But like shirts are $75.
Nah.
Hoodies are like I said, $150. Like, Tommy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, and if Roger Goodell told Tom Brady he had to give up anything, Brady would retire right now.
100%.
Same with anybody else. Look what they're doing in basketball. Imagine, was it Adam? What's the commissioner's name?
Adam Silver.
Adam Silver. I almost said Adam Golden. Would have been way off. For him to tell LeBron, "Hey man, love what you're doing. You can't do it." Where would LeBron go? It's just the name of the game right now is making the most of what you have while you can, from a branding standpoint. So. Very interesting stuff that I never knew that. I never knew Namath retired or resigned based on that he owned a stake in a bar.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
You can't do anything else other than a YSN, or else you have to resign. See you later.
See ya.
So, dude, we want to talk about this. Breaking news to YSN, and obviously our baseball and softball and spring sports coverage came to a conclusion on Friday when Louisville lost in the regional finals to Chardon, who is in the Final Four now. So congratulations to Chardon. Congratulations to Louisville on an unbelievable year as we continue to get things kickstarted for summer. There was no off day for Quinn Pushkar. He just absolutely navigated because the 14Us were going, correct me if I'm wrong, before anything was even done.
Yeah.
Like, they were playing ball at Ysn Park, and you were packing them in, man, getting people in the ballpark and enjoying it. So, DJ and Quinn, how's the golf game treating you guys?
Awful.
You're looking up clubs right now.
I can't make putts. I just can't putt.
Are you 3-putting though?
Yeah. I've 3-putted a couple times.
That's not
I can't make putts. I can't hit a driver. A hybrid's great though. Hit the hell out of that thing. Can't hit a driver.
Smits, I got to tell you that my golf game has never been better, and it's because number one, I actually get out on the course now. But Brian Tolnar's got me figuring stuff out, and also Donnie Riccatelli's son. That one day that we spent in the simulator, he had me doing the L and all that stuff. Still not where I want to be. I'm a far away and a far cry away from that, but I think that I can get there. A little bit of help. We got, you know what season it is now?
It's summer. That's all I know.
It's golf season for us because we're in all of these different golf outings. So I'm sure we'll see all of you around the links, and make sure you support these golf outings of all the different schools and all the different associations and foundations and things of that nature. Because that's a lot of times that's their biggest fundraiser of the year. So get out there and do just that. Support them, work on your golf game, and drink a couple adult pops. Quinn, let's talk about, I got the numbers right here. You put them up for me. So when YSN started, we were doing maybe 150 games a year total, max. So for reference, we'll talk about the baseball and softball season, because I didn't want to make it like nationally known that we did, our numbers from last year. But we did 222 baseball and softball games last year, which amazing in itself, right? This year, 426 baseball and softball games. That is a huge testament, not only to our announcers and the people that want to be YSN personalities and YSN announcers and do these games, but to you, because you had to schedule each and every one of those games at some point during the season. And you and I kind of talked about it offline, and 426 is low for what we wanted. Our goal was 500. Did we think it was possible? Maybe, but we hit every possible game that we could, because what people aren't realizing is how many cancellations and changes there were during the baseball and softball season. Remember, folks, 3 weeks ago, we were talking about snow. We're talking about snow, and a whole week got absolutely lambasted, taken off the schedule. Quinn was trying to make sure that we could get some extra games in, get the games that we absolutely could. Announcers, while they're phenomenal when it comes to availability, sometimes they just don't have it. You know what I mean? When you go from a game on Monday to a game on Thursday, sometimes you have plans. What was your biggest challenge in scheduling and executing 426 games?
I think honestly it was just keeping up with the scheduling, because like you said, the announcers wanted to do them. They wanted to be there. I've had great help with doing the schedules through all the ADs and everything like that and stuff. But just putting it on the spreadsheet and all that stuff, getting it all organized, that was pretty much the hardest.
And you were able to do it through, Arbiter and conversations with the ADs and conversations with the coaches, conversations with the players, and even conversations with the announcers, because sometimes they're kept up to speed better than anybody because they want these games to be on, these coaches and programs. When you look forward to the Class B and summer schedule that we have, last year we had 425 games total on the Class B summer. So that for us, that's Class B. That's BCB, and that was really it, right? Year, for the most part. This year, as of today, we've got 92 already in the hopper. Unbelievable. So we're a few weeks away from breaking that record, and obviously 425, that's a nice bar to set, because that's the second biggest season that we have is in the summer. What is your goal for this summer? Where do you want to be by the end of it?
Well, we were at 420 last year.
425, yep.
I beat that, obviously.
It's 500?
500, 450, 500, somewhere in there.
So
a nice little spot to be at.
I
like 500. It's a nice round number.
So our goal for summer is 500. We got 92 already. So when you look at basketball, last year, 2021, we did 749 games. This year, and obviously you're a basketball guy. I don't think anybody's going to confuse that. You were able to get us 965 games covered, almost 1,000 games covered in basketball season. Between the three of them, we're probably going to be close to 2,000 games in just 3 seasons. And that leaves us football, volleyball, and soccer when that comes in the fall. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities that we end up with 2,500 games in a year.
No, absolutely.
So you think about that. What this area has had in the past is single digits. You get a spotlight game during the week, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And now you are basically on more than you're not. What do you think that does? I mean, as a coach, as a former player, we've seen your MySN video, that your promo, but what do you think this actually does for kids in getting them highlighted, getting them recruited, and getting them known for what they do better than a lot of other things that they do?
Yeah, I mean, it puts everybody out there. I mean, everybody gets to see everybody. Coaching wise, we get film on everybody now. We can see everybody. You just get to watch stuff like basketball wise. I mean, every night I was watching somebody.
Yeah,
it's just, you get to see a bunch of different schools. You get to keep up with your friends and other coaches and see. Like I got to watch Canfield play, and just seeing everybody. I mean, you just get to see everybody, and that's the biggest thing.
You were talking to a college coach.
I was
lately, and he said he absolutely loves YSN.
Yes.
Why?
Well, he's bringing in a lot of people that were on YSN. But I mean, for the same reasons, he gets to see everybody that he's recruiting. He gets to see kids that he wants to recruit, and gets to see people that he might not have known before because they're on YSN.
So as the guy that puts all these schedules together and wants to continually raise that bar, what are your biggest obstacles? Do you need more announcers? Do you need more equipment? Like things that we can do to get out there, and especially right here. I mean, if you need more announcers, now's the time to plead for them.
Yeah, I mean, you could always use more announcers, and with that, you're going to need more equipment. Just because, I mean, we're pretty much even with announcers and equipment, so that those two go hand in hand. Basically, to raise the bar on what we have, I mean, you need more schools to sign in and be a part of what we're doing and stuff like that, so we get more games and stuff. But I mean, ideally, it's more announcers. Can never have enough.
So what's crazy to me is I'm going to give a straight up, this is where we are in the world. I haven't looked at it. I mean, I don't manipulate these stats at all. But when you look at for a year, as it just pops up. Okay, so give you a look at that. So you got 2.5 million views to this point this year. Look where we're at next to next year. I mean, we're going to blow away last year during football season. And the big thing for me is we want to make sure we have every football game covered. And volleyball, which had 97 games covered last year, we want to double that, if not triple that. Soccer's at 17. Obviously, that was our weakest link. We want to take that from 17 and get that into, I'd love to see it at 100, 100 soccer games covered. And with the technology that we currently have, and technology we're working with schools, with the huddle cams and things of that nature, I think we can pull that off. If you are a soccer announcer, if you're a volleyball announcer, or people that want to get involved with football or things of that nature, and you want to make some cash, you want to do it, on broadcasts and cut your teeth on it, now's the time to get involved. We're taking and this is unofficial. We're going to be doing this in the coming weeks. Typically we do it in July, but teams and people that are interested in broadcasting and being part of our Power Hour and being part of, Running Point and Casual Sports Podcast, or have ideas for podcasts of their own, that's all based on local. Now's the time to get involved. And, obviously when you look at these sheets, that Quinn put together, 965 basketball games this year, 426 games during the spring. That doesn't include the track meets, correct? So we even had a few.
Include any of that tennis, track.
So we had a few more.
Wrestling. We haven't.
So we're probably. We don't even have wrestling on here. Yeah. So we're probably sitting around, the 500 mark when you include all that. And then, we're already just about at 100 for summer. So if you're looking to get involved, now's the time to get involved. Make sure you contact Quinn. Make sure you contact us in some capacity to go and be part of our team, because we are growing. We're getting bigger. We're getting faster. We're getting stronger, just like all your student athletes around the area. And if we don't hit 300 football games this year, I think that it's a miss.
Could be.
I think it's a miss. I mean, and obviously a lot of it depends on how far our football teams go in playoffs. But the reality is I think we're going to have another good year. I think it's going to be another solid year for us. And at 288 last year, that number haunts me because I just want that extra 12. I want that big round 300 around it. So if you've ever thought about joining our team, if you've ever thought about becoming a local sports broadcaster, now's the time to do it. And there's no better opportunity to do it with us here at YSN. So make sure you send us just a message in general, just saying, hey, love to see what it takes. And we'll get you started. We'll start you in part of our academy that kicks off in late July. And then we'll be doing football games. Oh, man, my stomach just absolutely turned over. We're going to be doing football games and start fall in mid-August. Mid-August. And then we've got some games. We got a football game this week, actually, which is crazy. We have the Jack Arvin Classic, which we'll be covering exclusively for YSN. And then we have the Penn Ohio game, which we'll be part of as well, it sounds like. And then we're good until late August when week 1 comes around, and it's going to be here before you know it. But we're going to focus on volleyball and soccer a lot more this year, the same way that we did with basketball. Quinn's got a great eye for this stuff, and he really pushes our announcers to get out there and do it, because the more games they do, the more money they get paid, and the more coverage we have and the better sponsors that we can get. And the happier sponsors are, because they're getting even more share of voice during their flight. So you're also AAU basketball coach. People don't realize that. How's AAU been for you?
It's been fun. It's been a fun time.
I see the gold medals coming home.
Yeah, we've been winning a little bit. 7th graders doing pretty well. High school kids, they're having fun. So that's all that I care about there. It's been fun. Got the national stuff coming up here in July, so can't wait.
And so where is that this year?
Louisville. We'll be in Louisville again.
For the Roses?
Yep, the Run for the Roses. I'm going to have a team down there for my 7th graders. Eric Bailey, he's going to be bringing his high school group down. So we'll see what we can do.
I love it. I love seeing local talent do well on a national stage, man. Like when you think about it, I mean, those are some really good teams.
Yeah.
Definitely. Really good teams. EB was he was letting me know about all the great teams that come through. He just was in Dallas.
Yeah.
And he said that there was some legit, like they had Russell Westbrook like sneak in the back door and stuff like that. So are you surprised when you see celebrities and basketball players and all kinds of people go to these tournaments?
Not really, because like it's the elite of the elite for some of these events. I think he was in Louisville a little bit ago. It was a Nike event. So you got all those teams that are sponsored by those NBA guys. Bradley Beal was in it. He said Carmelo Anthony came through. Westbrook came through. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that he said were there. LeBron's kid played in it. Both of his sons actually played in it. Got all the national teams that are playing in it that are big, super elite teams that handpick who they want. So, I mean, you're getting a lot of the talent in there, and I think that event was a top 100 team or something like that. So basically you're getting the top recruits in the country. The number 1 kid in the country for 2023 was there. So it was pretty cool.
What do you tell your kids, that are, I mean, listen, they're local superstars.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're going up against Bronny James or somebody in that, that realm, what do you tell them?
I wouldn't even know what to say to them, honestly. I mean, it comes down to just playing the game that you can play.
Yeah.
You play your style and see what happens. You go out there. I mean, you can't prepare for it because it's one of those things like, when are you ever going to play somebody like that? So just go out there, do what you got to do, play your game, and see what happens.
And you're on the girls' side of it, right? So I mean, there's still some amazing talent that you're going to see showcased down there. And I'm sure we'll have check-ins from Louisville when you're down there. We'll just kind of get ideas of what kind of talent. I mean, you're talking D1 talent beyond.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's the largest girls tournament in the world. Is
that the 80 courts at one time?
Yeah, it's massive. It's absolutely massive. Try to pull it up now, see what we got for some of it.
Like 80 courts at one time. I remember when Chris told me about that, and I was like, I don't think we can stream 80 times.
Yeah, it's astronomical what they do in the Kentucky Expo Center. I mean, they put ridiculous amount of courts in there and stuff like that. Let's see, I'm trying to pull up something. I mean, it's going to be bigger than it ever was. So naturally it's going to be probably 1,200, 1,300 teams, if not more. What do we got? Here in the most recent post it's over 1,450 teams, and they got teams from Europe, Australia, North America, all coming through. So
that's insanity. And to walk out of there champion means that you did something.
That'd be incredible, to say the least.
Do you like that? Do you think that you guys can pull it off?
You never know. See what happens.
You got a 7th grade team.
Yeah.
We talked the other day about rankings and stuff like that. When you're in 7th grade, 8th grade, do you believe in that stuff or no?
No, I don't. I mean, like, you can, doing it the way that we do, like Eric and I, we can kind of see where they're at talent wise, and we can see like, hey, you guys can potentially do something special as a group and stuff like that. But projecting 7th graders in my mind is absurd. Is
it a waste of time?
It's not a waste of time because it's fun to just kind of talk and stuff like that, talk it out. But I mean, it doesn't mean anything because they haven't grown yet. You know, like I'm thinking back on just the kids in Lisbon that I've coached since 7th grade, like the growth that they have. Like Hunter Daly was 6'5" in 7th grade.
Right.
So like the growth that they have, like it's too hard to project, but the talent you could see is there.
So how do I phrase this question? Why do it if it doesn't matter? Is
Something
it just
to talk about? Is
it just for, I mean, can you play it? Does money go into it? Like, hey, if my kid's the 15th ranked, hooper in the country, I'm going to go to every single one of these.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, but I mean, you still got to put in the work. Like the kids have to put in the work. I mean, I could be the most talented basketball player in the world, but if I'm not going to work at it, I'm not going to do anything. So
who's doing these rankings, by the way?
There's a bunch of different things out there. I mean, I think the most regarded ones are ESPN and like 247 Sports or something like that.
Okay.
Those are kind of the two that are pretty accurate with their rankings for the most part, but I mean, who knows?
Where are your players located? You don't have to say their names, just kind of where they are.
So they're all kind of our area. They got Crestview, Boardman, Maplewood, LeBray, Harlan Christian, Poland. Trying to think of what else. I don't know if did I say Crestview? I don't know. West Branch.
Okay.
So I mean, they're all kind of this area. Eric's group is pretty much the same thing. Howland, Salem. I think he might have a couple from up north, like Newton Falls or something like that. But for the most part, it's the Tri-County area.
And how do you just put on an APB? Like, hey, do you want to play more basketball, or do you actually have to go out and recruit, or how does this work?
A little bit of both. I mean, like for the 7th grade group, it was nice because the one guy that helps me, Nate, his daughter plays for us, and it's like her friends and stuff, and they just so happen to be decent and pretty good, and add in a couple others that are like open gym tryouts and stuff like that. High school wise, it's a lot of just kind of knowing who you know through coaching and stuff like that, seeing the talent and talking to them, and just, do you want to play, stuff like that, see what you can do, and kind of just lay it out there like, hey, we go to these events, and if you want to be a part of it, great. If you play for somebody else, cool. Like, just word of mouth, basically.
So when you go into these, expectations are, we're coming out of here with the trophy. I mean, you brought home a ton of gold.
I mean, yeah. So like for me and for Nate in this 7th grade group, like we want to win every game,
right,
obviously, because we're competitive and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like it's their first time going to something like this. So we are trying to be kind of realistic and know that like the talent is a lot different there than it is back here. But I mean, I think we can do some stuff down there that'll be pretty special for that group. But I mean, just getting them down there in a different environment is something fun.
So what are the biggest challenges? I mean, I know from a standpoint of, especially nowadays with, I don't want to call it the transfer portal, but the open enrollment and things of that nature, how tough is it to keep a team like that together that is winning a bunch, and you want to keep them together obviously next year and then going into high school? Mm-hmm. What are the obstacles that you face in just keeping them playing with each other?
So AAU is a little different. Like we don't worry about that as much. I mean, we have to kind of follow the 2 per school rule. But other than that, like if they're enjoying it and they're winning and stuff, like they're all pretty friendly with each other. They kind of want to stick together. yeah, there might be some here and there that leave, go to a different thing, try something else out, and you wish them the best, do whatever you got to do, and we'll go find somebody else. Like, okay.
Who's the big bad wolf? I know last year it was Smack or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we're friendly with Smack. Like, we're all kind of like one family with Ohio basketball. Smack is the northern group. We're down here, so like naturally we butt heads and stuff because we're competitive and we have fun with it, being friendly and stuff like that. But there's just a bunch of teams out there that we want to play and we want to be a part of, and we've ran into some teams that have beaten us. We want to take a chance at them again, see what happens.
So we've kind of went over this from a standpoint of recruiting. Is high school and travel ball, which includes AAU, has kind of flip-flopped. It used to be that you were seen in high school, and that's the game that mattered. And right now we're finding through all of our studies and all of our, kind of everything we're trying to put into, especially with prospect coming out, that travel ball is huge in recruiting, because not only just from the timepiece of you're usually not in that season, but when you're talking about the recruiters, that is, but also the level of competition is a little bit higher when you talk about travel ball, because like you said, you can handpick your kids and you're not just necessarily dealing with the kids that are in your community who mom and dad are just making them play because they played in high school.
Yeah, I mean, so recruiting, like, to me, it seems like it's easier in AAU just because of one, you've got X amount of teams playing in one gym. So as a college coach, you can kind of just come and you see multiple people in one gym. It's easier. And like you said, you're not in the middle of winter when basketball's going on. You can't always get out and stuff like that. And recruiting periods change and all that stuff. Plus, you got events like the Run for Roses where you got 1,400 teams coming to one gym. You could just spend all day walking courts. So it makes it easier in travel ball than it does high school, where you want to see 5 kids play. Well, there are 5 different schools that'll play on Tuesday. Like, how do you do that? How do you balance that?
So for a parent that is kind of on the fence with, and it doesn't have to be AAU, it can be anything. Why would you push them to say, at least try out travel ball or AAU or JO or anything like that, as opposed to just focusing on community ball or high school ball or middle school ball, stuff like that? Why is it so important to get yourself out there?
Well, it never hurts to try something new.
Sure.
My main concept with that would be, in like for AAU, for example, I'll use that because I'm a little bit higher knowledge in that. We're gonna play different teams. We're gonna play harder teams. We're not gonna play like community wise. We're not gonna play the same 5 schools. We're gonna travel a little bit, which gets you out of this area, which is good.
That's fair.
And it, you never know until you try it. It might be something that you're gonna have more fun with. Plus, you travel, so you can use it as vacation a little bit.
That's what you do.
Yeah,
you love it.
That's exactly what I do. But it puts you in different spots that you're not used to. You're not playing the same kids over and over again. Like EOAC wise, like at Lisbon, we play the same 8 schools as our conference. Well, now if we do something like this, you can play teams from Pittsburgh, you play teams from Cleveland, you can play other than Columbiana County, you could play somebody else, which is
big.
Always better.
It's big. Quinn Pushkar, the legend, continues doing his thing in AAU, resting for a little bit, right?
Yeah,
and then you get back started in when?
About the end of the month. We got a lot of team stuff going on now for Lisbon, which I'm excited about, and get to be around them a little bit more, which is what it is, I guess. But it'll be fun. So,
and then of course doing your awesome job here with YSN as the assistant general manager and making sure everybody gets these games. And again, we've got a ton tonight as well. We have 10 Boardman Community Baseball games just this week, which is about half of what we did the entire year last year. And that doesn't include what we'll be doing in the district tournament, once again, at Boardman Community Baseball in the Field of Dreams. So again, the numbers so far, 749 for basketball last year. Quinn has made it 965, just short of 1,000. I know you were pissed about that. Baseball and softball, 222 last year, 426 this year. Class B last year, 425, and we're already at 92 as of today. Football was 288, volleyball 97, soccer 17, and we're going to uptick all those numbers Lord willing. So Quinn, just wanted to bring you on here and just showcase you and tell you thank you. And the guy that does it right there, and none of us could do it without the announcers, but the guy that puts in the backlog work and making sure that he understands when the games are playing and doing it better than anybody ever has or anybody ever will, Quinn Pushkar, and we can't thank him enough. So we're going to take a break. I'll be back with more Power Hour after this. Once again, QP, appreciate you, and we'll be back right here on the YSN Power Hour. Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I got to get this changed. Quinn left. That's how it goes here. There we go. Well, there's running point, so we're going to have to get rid of that too. Just want to thank Quinn for stopping by. Big time job done by him, and as always, he always knocks it out of the park. Anything we ask, such a driven guy. I mean, when you give him opportunities, he thrives in, especially, whatever it takes cases, and, giving him hey, here's the number we did last year. We need to up it. Even if it's by one, we want to just advance the football. We want to advance the baseball. We, advance the base runner, whatever it may be, whatever analogy you want to bring to it. We want to continue to raise the bar for everybody. And we talk a lot about our announcers, which we cannot talk enough about, because a lot of these guys are not doing it because they need the money. They're doing it for the love of the game, the love of the business in sportscasting. And I got to tell you that without them, there is no YSN. Without you, there is no YSN. But certainly without sponsors and advertisers, there is no Your Sports Network. And they've carried this burden for the last 5 years, and they've done it without blinking. They've done it without even, saying, what are we getting for this? A lot of these sponsors are doing it because they're fans of YSN, and they watch it personally, and they know that they're seeing everybody else's logo constantly on the broadcast, in the commercials, during, between innings, before the game starts, after the game ends. We try to take care of our local business partners as much as we humanly possibly can, because we understand, because we are a business. Are we part of the media? Technically, yes, but we understand that all those hard-earned days and all those hard-earned dollars that you're creating, we want to help you double that. And I think we've been able to do that for a lot of different businesses and get them the exposure that they've needed. So if you would like to become, and this is basically turned into a YSN promo, if you'd like to become an advertiser or sponsor on YSN, it's real simple. You just go to ysnlive.com/advertise to get started. Send over one of those inquiry forms and we'll get you started as of probably tomorrow, because we're doing a lot of games tonight, a ton of games. As a matter of fact, I'll try to get to this game and this. If you go to ysnlive.com, okay, I'm trying to talk and do it at the same time. I'm not very good at it. /live. So ysnlive.com/live. You'll get an all access link to every game that we're having here this evening. We have even more games. Actually, it's from yesterday, so we're gonna have to update that before too long. We got a ton. We got a ton tonight, and I'm personally excited getting out to do the Boardman Community Baseball. One of my favorite things to do, because those kids just love being on YSN. They get so excited, so amped up. The parents love it. The grandparents love it. And it's just a great opportunity to be seen and for us to continue to be out there in the community. And I just got the question, how much is it to watch these games? It's nothing. It's nothing. We are not going to pass down a fee unless a fee is passed down to us. And, Boardman Community Baseball, again, has done a phenomenal job. Chad Miller, above and beyond, and everybody that's involved. It's like a scene park. It really is in its own way. And I love being able to get out there. Districts are certainly my favorite time of year, but it comes at a time where we're all ramped up for football. So we're kind of keeping an eye on one thing and then, getting ready and gearing up for another in football. And people don't realize how big of a monster football is. It's just an absolute monster. And, we're constantly being asked, it's going to slow down for you now in the summer, right? We don't want that slow down. We don't want that. We don't want to slow down at all. We want to keep the pedal to the metal. And, if there's kids out there and programs out there and organizations out there that need covered, we want to do it. That's why Anthony's doing such a good job. He had 4 games the other day that he broadcasted for travel softball. If you're a travel team or you're looking out there and you want your games broadcast, obviously there's a little bit of a fee that comes with it, but we can, utilize those in sponsorships. If businesses that want to take advantage of it, that's how we get it going. And, you can have your kids on YSN and broadcast with I think some of the best announcers out there. And I know I'm biased, but a lot of times it's these guys stepping up and these parents stepping up that say, hey, I want to make sure that our games get broadcast. So would you mind if I hopped on the mic? No, we just need to train you a little bit and you're good to go. But it's a great opportunity to continue to reinvest yourself. And, parents who maybe don't know the X's and O's as much, but they still want to be involved with their team, maybe be an announcer for your travel ball organization. I'm sure that the coaches would love having their broadcasts on YSN, but we need to get you signed up to be an official partner of YSN, add you to that wall and get you started. Check the comment section here. Robert says, incredible season by Louisville. As a resident of Louisville, I can't thank YSN enough for all you do for Louisville athletics. Robert, that means so much. Louisville is a team that we've been trying to build that bridge with, and we've had tremendous success with, because Rob Roberts is the guy that really took the torch from me and said, hey, we're going to do this. And Ben, and you have Burek and the entire crew over there. Now you got 2 young announcers that are going to go into their senior season that want to do this, maybe professionally someday. It's just a joy to see how things start to how things progress. And nobody's ever said after that at least to this point, that after utilizing YSN services, that they don't want it anymore. And that's a joy for me, because retentions is just as important as when you gain that team the first time. And we're just very humbled and honored to be able to do what we do on a regular basis. And, to keep it up during the summers, although it's very challenging, it's also a great opportunity, because this is actually the time where you start to see the younger generations go in and we build brand loyalty and people that are really excited about YSN at this time in their life. And it's really cool for me because you look at the Boardman teams that we chased all the way down to New Albany, and all over the place, and down south when they won their 11U state championship. Those kids cannot wait to be on YSN again. And now they've got the opportunity. Some of them are Astro Falcons now. Some of them are in the Class B program. Some of them are on travel ball teams. But the one thing that they'll all have in common is they all remember being interviewed by YSN. They all remember being on YSN before it was quote unquote cool to be on YSN. And what I'm overjoyed about is we're not just there for the good games. We're not just there for the premier games. We want to cover your kids because your kids are important to us. They're important to the future of all these schools, all these organizations behind us, each of them, because it's so hard to capture the attention of these kids and keep it and keep them involved and keep them ingrained. And, what things can we do from a YSN standpoint, from a broadcast standpoint, that help them stay engaged and stay involved in sports in some capacity? Because not every kid's a starter. Not every kid's going to stay with the sport, but it's those kids that maybe they're not varsity material that, hey, we want to stay a part of baseball because we had so much fun when we were 10 years old, when we were 8 years old. And I remember when YSN came, and I remember when we got our games broadcasted, and I remember how much fun it was. That's our goal. That's such a big goal for us that really goes, looked over, is we team up with these organizations to make the games exciting, to make their programs exciting, to give a little extra to where maybe one or two kids continue to play past the age of 12 or past the age of 13, to where maybe the numbers don't drop as much. There's a lot of schools and a lot of programs that are in a bad situation. They're looking to grow their programs, but there's just not enough interest. And I think that's one of the big things that we have reallocated our focus to. We've really started to hone in on making this game, making these programs, making these opportunities as enjoyable as we possibly can for these kids, these parents, and the programs. And it's people like BCB that are there, the Chad Millers of the world, across the board. These organizations where you're not supposed to, it doesn't matter. Like, right? Quinn just talked about AAU. It doesn't matter because, you're supposed to, you're paying money to do it. Nobody wants that extra X, Y, or Z. We do. We think the kids deserve it. And, when we charge organizations like Boardman Community Baseball or like Class B baseball, it's because we know that they're, in some capacity, they're getting paid. But they understand, especially, we can have Scott Rourke on, my guy. And we talk about him a lot in a Steve Leslie interview a week or so ago. Scott Rourke will tell you that how incredible YSN has been for Bob Seton Park and for the Class B League and for NABF and for, on and on and on and on and on. Because we basically serve as not only a marketing arm, but you fly that flag up our flagpole, the YSN flagpole, which we have 55 schools, 20 organizations, minor league baseball team, in college baseball, and soon to be breaking news, a lot more. We have a line out our door of people that want to get involved with YSN, and there's a reason for that. It's because there's opportunities that they wouldn't have otherwise to reach the masses, which is literally, I showed you that 2.5 million people per year to this date. To June 6th, we're at 2.5. We are halfway through the year. And I'm willing to bet we're going to do 5 million by the time this year's over and blow away all of that stuff. So from our standpoint, why wouldn't you want your kid to be seen by potentially 5 million people? That's 5 million opportunities for scholarship. That's 5 million opportunities to be seen, to go to play sports at some level higher than they are. That's 5 million reasons to tune in. And I don't care if it's grandma or grandpa or Uncle Lou or Aunt Betty or whoever it may be. Your kid is being seen by someone outside of their community. And that's been the biggest selling point for us is while we're so happy and so excited, we do not ever want to step on the toes of people in your community. We want to supplement them. And essentially, the greater good will pay off, because if you are seen by everybody back here and everybody over here, how would that ever harm what you're trying to do? The exposure factor that you're trying to provide for your young student athlete or your young athlete. It won't. It won't. In fact, it'll just increase the odds and opportunities that are going to be set forth for them. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to get it started tonight with BCB officially. A 3-year contract that we signed with them, one that takes us through districts. We'll have every district game on the network, not just one field, not just one game, every single one of them. And that includes softball. It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get better than that. Class B, I mean, I told you the numbers. We're already at 92 games. I think we missed out on a handful here or there because we're still covering high school. But to be able to cover 100 games to this point in a very young summer season just increases the odds for your son or daughter's success. And that's what the ultimate goal is for us, is success in where we cover, where we plant our flag. That's where we want increased success, opportunities aplenty. That's why it's so great when Quinn brings this number to me and says, hey, we covered 426 games, baseball and softball. What did we do last year? 222. That's double the coverage. Double the coverage that your son or daughter had in a calendar year. To me, that's incredible. To me, that's why we're here. They always talk about, the dash between when you're born and when you die. What do you do with that dash? And no matter what we do at YSN, and I'm going to brag a little bit, we've increased the exposure for every single kid that goes on YSN, that is going to these schools that are represented by YSN. We even increased it tenfold. And that's probably low. That's probably low, because you think of some of these schools that don't get coverage on a regular basis. You think of some of these schools that don't get, and I'll tack on even more onto that with these new all-star games that we're having. My favorite, and I've said it again, I'll say it 100 times more, my favorite part of the year, all-star games, because it's as legit as it gets, giving these kids increased opportunities to be in the dugout, on the bench, wherever it may be, on the sideline with some of the best possible athletes, student athletes, whether they're a senior or not. It doesn't matter with us. We're bringing, every school gets represented, at least asked. They don't have to if they don't want to. But every school has the opportunity to be in the dugout, on the sideline, in the field, with the best of the best from our area. And every school gets represented. And that was my hope, my dream, my ambition, and now it's happening. And you see it with the baseball all-star game that we're going to have on June 25th at Ysn Park. 50-some jerseys are going to be out there. Every pitcher that we bring in is going to pitch one inning. We'll have 18 different pitchers that are pitching, and 6 different catchers, 3 for each team. And the rest we just fill in. And the honor is ours. Most people are going to sit there, and we've seen it before where, these all-star games take shape, and then it's a money grab. We lose money on our all-star games, and that's fine. And I'm all for it, because we give opportunities, and we give back to our communities. And this one coming up, these 2 coming up, Project MKC. June 25th at Ysn Park, June 26th, 7 p.m. at Youngstown State University at their softball field. Project MKC is going to be happy with what they're getting from YSN. The amount of the amount of positivity that we bring, having first pitches, having opportunities to really understand what Project MKC is, having them there, hopefully having a booth that you can help with their diaper drive. We can help with the proceeds that directly from the ticket sales, we go right back into them. I'm a firm believer that when everybody works together for common good, you can't lose. You can't lose. And there's no doubt about it that if YSN were to pack up and be ended today, that the impact that we have made in just 5 years, in our infancy, you think about what a 5-year-old child is and how many mistakes they make. That's us. But in 5 short years, the amount of adversity that we've overcome, the amount of people we've met, the amount of gratitude that we have given is unmatched. And I am so excited with guys like Quinn, guys like Steve Leslie, guys like Mike Ackelson, guys like Brian Scott, the list, Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell, Richie Giuliano. The list goes on and on. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's you. It's you that makes the difference. It's you that constantly gives back by watching, gives back by giving us criticism. And most people don't like criticism. I welcome it because it's only going to make us better. We take everything that you say into account, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all of it, every single bit of it. And we take it into account. We take it into a think tank. We take it into a room. We noodle on it. We try to recraft it, massage it, and make it into something that can be successful for everybody. Because at the end of the day, that's how we operate. We operate as a team. We win as a team. We lose as a team. And we grow as a team. And for us, you are that team. You are part of that team. You are every bit as much of YSN as we are. And we can't thank you for that. If you didn't watch 426 games, we wouldn't broadcast them. Our sponsors would not surely put their hard-earned money into those games, into those sponsorship packages, into those advertising dollars. They wouldn't do it. But you're watching, and you're watching at a great magnitude. And we thank you. Whether you're the only one watching or whether you're part of the thousands that watch each and every night on ysnlive.com, we thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope tonight is no exception to that rule because we got a ton of great games on the network, baseball, and, of course, Little League as well at BCB. We're going to hit our Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? And we'll wrap up the show. Here we go. So it's a Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? And I think I've done this one prior to this moment, and I think it's been a while. It might have been actually a G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef at some point. But, like, people who criticize meteorologists, it bothers me. It bothers me because from our standpoint, from my standpoint, I always ask people, who did you pick in the March Madness poll? Like, who did you pick to go win the championship? And they always, I'm so terrible at those. But those are the same people that are ridiculing our local meteorologists on guessing the future, guessing the weather that's coming. Well, they said it wasn't going to rain till 4 and it's raining at 3 o'clock. Do you understand that stuff changes? Like, that is the weather changes so much during the course of a week. A 10-day forecast, a 7-day forecast, a 5-day forecast, even during the day. And still, I always see people just bashing meteorologists. Listen, a lot of those meteorologists went to school to do that the same way that you went to school to do whatever you, and I'm not cutting you down. But next time you want to bash a meteorologist because the weather isn't exactly as they predicted, just remember how good your bracket was in the last NCAA March Madness. Just remember that. And maybe it's good. And then, hey, tell me to stuff it, right? Tell me, stick it where the sun don't shine. Put it, in my pipe and smoke it. But if you're like me and your bracket isn't too great and you're not too wonderful, you're no Doc Brown and can't predict the future, maybe we leave these meteorologists alone. Maybe we take a step back a little bit and understand that they're doing their job the best they can. They don't want to be wrong. The same way that you don't want to be wrong. But they got to put their right foot forward, right? And they're on a stage that if they make a mistake, you're there and you can criticize it. How many times do you get to be out in front of everybody? How many tweets have you deleted because you were wrong? They don't have the luxury of doing that. They just got to take the L, right? They just eat the L. Easy on meteorologists, folks. They're doing a great job. And I hear that, well, they're only right 50% of the time. Well, so are umpires. Nobody's giving them any grief at this point, especially the ones that come out on the winning side. What about the stock market? Like, why are we not bashing these people for the job they do? If it were easy, we'd all be meteorologists, right? If it were easy, we'd all be stockbrokers. If it were easy, we would all be people that predict the future. It's not easy. Take it easy on them. Dance in the rain a little bit if you have to. Enjoy yourself. Quit bashing meteorologists. Stop. The weather people are just doing their job. Leave them alone. That's going to do it for our show. Thanks for Quinn Pushkar for stopping by and everything he does across the board on YSN. Thanks to you for tuning in. As always, we appreciate it. Lots of games going on. Go to ysnlive.com/live for a full list of those games happening tonight. My name's DJ Oakley. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on YSN. YSN thanks you for watching